youngest age is kindergarten. Is 5 years old. And that's where these kids are coming into it. So we have to be louder. We have to be speaking up against this stuff. I hope, if anything tonight, that you're able to take some tidbits home of information and to say, this is what's happening. So alternative treatment. Moving more into a more positive direction. Because of my work around clinical physicians, all of that kind of mental health clinicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, I was in the psych ward quite a bit when I was a support worker. And I was always asking questions as to like, what is this like? So gender dysphoria or transsexualism. The DSM currently, as of this day, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders would define this problem of an extreme dislike of one's own body as gender dysphoria. That is a harsh, hot button word for people in the transgender community. So gender dysphoria is poo-poo. It's like, we don't want to talk about that. You're just trying to diagnose away who I really am. It reminds me of that song by Lady Gaga, Born This Way. That song is so misinformed. Like, another part of the LGBTQ, there's transsexualism. That's obviously, I'm presenting it as a danger to society, to children in particular. But the LGBTQ, I would like to dispel some myths in this room, and this might get a little bit hot right now. But if you'd be so kind, by a show of hands, how many of you believe that you are born gay? You are born homosexual? That people in general. So if you're a gay man, lesbian woman, are you born that way? Okay. Yep. There's no. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Okay. That is a belief that has no scientific backing. That you are born gay. There is no scientific evidence to suggest that, and I can present that to you if you'd like. There is evidence to suggest that in sets of identical twins, the most recent one I read was in Sweden, 72 sets of identical twins. So their genetic sequencing is as close as you can get in human comparison. One would be gay, one would be straight. Now, they've taken epigenetic markers, which is basically like the amount of testosterone you're exposed to in the womb could influence how much hair is on your body, and then they therefore extrapolate that that's probably why you're gay. The scientific reasoning behind that is not sound, it is not valid, it is not statistically significant enough for you to say someone is born gay. There are nurture and there are nature components to that we do not understand. It is not scientifically accurate to say that someone is born gay. And I bring that up to say, we live in Canada, you are allowed to live a homosexual lifestyle. That's not what we're talking about right now. But sadly, the people that would otherwise move on, these children that would otherwise move on to become, say, homosexual in their lifestyle, have mutilated their bodies for the sake of the cause. And that's one of the dangers of pushing this ideology onto children, is that they simply do not have enough time to make that decision. They don't have the maturity, they don't have the experience to know what exactly is going on. If you had asked me at the age of 16 what I was going to do for the rest of my life, that would have been I wouldn't have known, right? Like, that's where I'm coming from, is we need to allow children to be children before they start mutilating their bodies. And we need adults to be adults to tell them not to mutilate their bodies until whatever age, I guess, you could legally do that. Or, I mean, human development doesn't start or stop in terms of brain development until 25. Now, we vote at age 18 and all that kind of stuff, so you can have that argument. But we know that the brain is not developing until the age of 25, completely. And that's one of the reasons why males show so much up in the violent crime statistics from 16 to 25. So we are really having a hard time with that. These disorders, at their core, share many of the same features with eating disorders. Extreme dislike of one's own body. So if you're meeting someone that is really struggling with transgenderism, gender dysphoria, you're going to want to affirm that they are in fact beautiful. They are in fact who they should be. They are in fact created as they should be. And what they're experiencing at school is so fascinating to me, because when I was growing up, it was an anti-bullying message, a message of like hope and encouragement for students to say, you are who you should be, there's no one else like you, you're so unique, you're so lovely, you're capable of great things. Whereas now, we're encouraging children to believe that there's somebody else. And that's where I'm coming from, is I don't want that message to be continued, and I'd love for people to stand up and to say, this is the exact opposite of what we should be telling children. We should be telling them that they are enough just as they are. They do not need to modify their bodies. If they want to express themselves as feminine or masculine, that's fine. But we shouldn't be encouraging one group to be held on a pedestal in our schools and one group to have to watch that happen and say, oh, I wonder why Johnny over there, because he said that he is bisexual, is now getting more attention. Maybe I want more attention. And the studies are out. This is a social contagion at this point. The number of people that are identifying as trans is skyrocketing because of that reason, particularly among adolescent females. They're experiencing it much more than any other group. We've already seen how eating